A very special presentation for you. It is our April 25th Gold Division Tournament. I'm Pyrotechnics, and I'm joined by someone who needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyways. Please give it up for Trick2G.
Yo!
How's it going, man? How are you doing?
It's going pretty good, man. It's going pretty good.
All right, this is our first game of the night, guys. We have a 16-team tournament, a lot of returning faces. The first game that we're going to be casting for you is Forsaken Gaming versus Jookz, and they're already up on the screen. Picks and bans coming fast. All right, these first guys, yeah, wow, they're getting rid of some really interesting picks, actually. Draven, Soraka, Renekton I completely expect. And then Riven Zed and Shyvana taken away on the other side. So what do you make of those?
Shyvana. Shyvana, she does the FK farm, where you can put her top lane. Probably like target bans. And Soraka is just next level annoying. You just get pushed to your turret. Renekton just beats everybody. Draven just does maximum damage.
Soraka. Seeing a lot of that Soraka in the mid lane now, actually.
I don't see the deer ban though. I don't.
No, there's no deer ban. I don't know if they knew that you were going to be here tonight, but maybe one of them does. Okay. There's actually a new deer pickup, and it gets locked in by Geo, the jungler for Forsaken. You might know a few things about Udyr, right?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. That guy right there. That's. I like that guy. What's his name? Geo.
There's a longer pronunciation of it, but I just like to call him Geo. One of our usual teams here, and the support and the AD carry already picked up for Forsaken as well. Captain Lord Rocket and #1 Legends going on that Caitlyn. I like that combination as well. Kind of goes with everybody though.
Yeah, Caitlyn is just safe pick, win lane.
Yep, very much able to outrange and outdistance just about every other AD carry, especially at level 1. With Strangelove, locking in Lucian. And they're on Nocturne too.
Nocturne and Lulu. The stream go off, or is that me? Okay, never mind, it's back. Alright. I like that Nunu and Lulu and Nocturne. After watching CLG played game 1, I think it was. No, I don't think it was game 1 of DSM.
The playoff one you're talking about, right?
That was one of the playoffs, yeah. And Nocturne just flew in, knock up, get kills.
Mm-hmm. The one that I really remember with Nocturne lately is Medios doing that crazy split push win.
Oh, yeah.
Stop the ports. So many solo queue Nocturnes since then, and everyone's realizing he's just God mode with Feral Flare now.
In the Feral, solo queue is different.
Very true. It's junglers carry pretty hard in that, especially.
Yeah. People don't believe, though. That's the only thing.
No, I rely a lot on my jungler. I'm an ADC main, man, so if I'm losing my lane, I'm like, hey guys, the jungler now. I can't do anything anymore. Alright, the last pickups for Forsaken. They're hovering right now, but they think they're going to lock it in. Tayek on Ryze. Will Raze going for the Nidalee. Almost certainly going to be the mid pickup. Ryze likely to be the top laner. And they don't really know what the top laner is going to be for Jookz yet, so Ryze, bit of an early pickup. He's sort of a good counter, but I don't know about picking him blind into a top lane.
Well, there is Udyr. I mean, if he goes Tiger, Tiger, ganks lanes. Phoenix pretty much just AFKs. Especially if you're going to go Feral and you decide to just AFK in the jungle. But that's kind of hard. You kind of have to do that. I tested. I think I popped it off 12 minutes with the 30 stacks since they added 5 and they upped the cost up. But I don't know. I think Tiger would be better if he maxes Bear stance. Ryze in, maxing Bear second equals kills.
All right, so maybe they're taking Ryze blind as sort of a bait. Say, hey, come at me.
Yeah. That's what I do. If I play against Ryze, if I play a jungle, well, now with the new item, it kind of forces me to stay in the jungle because I'm greedy. But yeah, you're supposed to camp Ryze. So squishy early.
Yeah, he's a little bit unruly in the early game, and I think that's probably why the pick against him ends up being Xin Zhao. They could do something really weird, like send Nocturne top and have Xin in the jungle. They're both really good on Feral Flare, but somehow I think that's going to be a top lane Xin.
Yeah. I played that out not too long ago. It was pretty good. You got some sustain, some lifesteal quints. Don't just farm.
Oh, I love Xin Zhao. I used to like him way back in Season 2. I played him a whole time. I was playing back then.
First came out mid.
Yeah. All the big AD bruisery jungles I just did all the time, and he's got a pretty decent amount of CC. I think it works well into the team fight potential that Jookz is going for here. They've got a very sustainy comp with the Lulu, the Morgana, Lucian dishing out damage from the back line. And then there's a little bit more catch, but there's poke too. You know, Lil Ray's on Nidalee and number one Legends on Rise seem to kind of indicate that, yeah, they're going to have a little bit of lockup and poke potential from afar, but Captain Lord on Thresh means, hey, you know, if we can catch somebody, we're going to get on them, and they're not getting away. Geo, you know, Udyr's got a lot of utility as a jungler besides being able to just completely dominate people.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough matchup for both teams, I think.
Yeah. And Zen can go on that Lulu knockup with the knock.
Mm-hmm. Actually, they probably could have used Yasuo in that comp, considering how much displacement they have. No, but the teams are locked in, and I think now that the delay's in, we can actually talk about summoners. We don't talk about it beforehand because we don't want somebody to ghost and then get an unfair advantage. But since 4-6 has kicked in, we've definitely seen a tone down in the heals. They're not going to stack as well, but we are going to have the mid laner running it, where on Jookz, that is. Silent's going to be rocking that one, but Nidalee going for a barrier.
I thought they might.
Yeah. I thought it might be like a weird mix-up because Nidalee can go up there too.
Well, where's the heal at? Heal's so good with Nidalee and Caitlyn.
I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. Barrier, I believe at level 1, blocks more damage than heals, but shifts over really quickly. Maybe it's because the diminishing effect and Nidalee's got a heal anyways. They're thinking, maybe I don't really need this. I'm going to go barrier instead. I actually would have liked to see Ignite super duper close pre-6 anyways. So it's a tough call on Nidalee.
But let me put my stream up and let's get this started.
All right, yeah. I want to ask you a little bit though about just general lane lineups. What you're seeing here, we've got a Lucian and Morgana up against the Caitlyn Thresh. Caitlyn should be able to outrange Lucian pretty well, but that Morgana has a pretty good dispelling effect of most of the abilities early game. Taya can't Peacemaker too much. Captain Lord shouldn't be able to land all his hooks with the Black Shield, and Lucian has a good dodge out of that anyways. Who do you think wins that bot lane? Just looking at him, not knowing much about the players.
I think, I don't know. It's just, with the double heal, I don't think anybody's killing anybody, really. Udyr and with Thresh, ganking bot lane early, like real early, doing it unexpected, but you rarely see that at all. I mean, I don't know if Udyr is going to go Tiger, but, what side is he? This is blue side on the left, right? Okay, blue.
Yeah,
so,
blue side on the left. That's,
if he goes blue top and then red, he can probably gank bottom early and ride the wall and maybe bear stance, drop the exhaust, and pick up first blood. That's what I kind of do. But if you go Phoenix, it's kind of you kind of need to farm early while you have that blue if you don't want to waste too much time. And that could be the difference right there with that early gank.
Gotcha. So it's going to come down to what he's going to go for. I think that Phoenix would probably maybe benefit him a little bit more if he's trying to go for the quick Feral Flare. Is that what you usually do? Is rush that item?
Yeah. I tried one time out of like 100 times going Elder Lizard, and the Elder Lizard isn't, it isn't too bad. I think I went Tiger. I maxed Tiger and just put 1 point in Phoenix. But if he maxes that bear second, he's gonna be able to pretty much, they say you can kite Udyr. Well, you don't kite Udyr that maxes bear second, especially with that flash. And if you got a little bit of CC like top lane, you can go there, and then bot lane, I'd probably try to focus. This is a team game. Solo queue's a little bit different. Solo queue is more about that farm. But when you play as a team, everybody's on Curse Voice or whatever they use.
A little more communication potential.
Yeah.
Now, Nocturne's a pretty mobile jungler as well, and he's also a big fan of the Feral Flare, so if this game doesn't have a lot of action early and just kind of becomes a farm fest everywhere, all over the place, the team fight should start probably around like the 25-minute mark, I think, and they start clustering around Dragon depending on who takes that first tower, whether it's the bottom or the bottom. I think mid laners are pretty evenly matched as well to try and keep each other at bay.
Do these guys do the the LCS style, take the 2 turrets right off the bat?
Yeah, that thing that's been happening all the time.
Yeah.
It's happened a little bit in our leagues. We've seen it. There've been sort of half-committed ones where they've got like a 3-man and a 2-man, and very rarely do we see the 1 and 4, 1 and 4, or just the jungler continuing to farm and there's nobody left in one of the lanes. It's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen in this game. And everyone's just starting to buy up their items really early. Interesting choice on the... I always like to go to the items for the supports, because it's usually indicating what kind of lane they want to run. Thresh on the coin, probably one of his better items, since he doesn't really benefit too much from shield, but it usually means if he's going to go that and not rush a Sightstone, we're going to see probably a more passive bot lane, blue side.
Yeah, I definitely hate playing against Caitlyn. I mean, that's all it is a farm fest.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
ignite.
You can't dive in on her really early, especially not when there's a Thresh too. I play a lot of Caitlyn, and I know I frustrate the hell out of people.
Oh, yeah.
And they're on the other side ADC. Although Lucian is hard to deal with. He's pretty slippery. He gets in and out, and you just cannot hit him very easily. I think Twitch and a few other ADCs that we're seeing more popularly are easier to hit than he is. And with Morgana, you can't dive too hard, otherwise you're going to take a Dark Binding to the face.
Just realized that Zen doesn't have Ignite.
Yeah, he's going actually for the teleport, so we'll see a really mobility-focused team fight kind of comp out of him. I think he's just trying to hold out against Ryze early game and maybe hope for some Nocturne support in the beginning. Not going to go super aggro. And, you already see Ryze going for a build that's suggesting a spammy thing, as he usually does. He's going to turn that into a tier really quickly. Interestingly, he's got the Biscuit Mastery, too. I don't always see that on a top lane AD or AP. So right off the bat, both junglers taking their bottom side. Geo going for the red buff early. And yeah, he's got the Phoenix stance.
Yep.
That's what he goes first. Okay, cool. And then both of them disappear back into the depths of their jungle to progress on the farm, and the bot lanes take their place. Up in the top, Inheritors keeping a healthy distance from #1 Legends. Don't want to take any early poke from Ryze. Very frustrating to deal with when you suddenly find yourself half health and you have no way to re-engage. This is what happens when you have to be a melee top laner.
Yeah.
Surprised they picked that into him. There really were a lot of options they could have taken, but I guess they just wanted a little bit of bruiser potential. And
but he's got teleport.
Actually gonna. Well, oh, out of there and get down to somewhere else if he need be. But if he's got no health, what's he gonna do, right? Oop, Captain Lord. Very aggressive early, and they find Tayek on a Dark Binding. Continuing to poke him down. He's actually very, very low, and they dash behind him. The heal is already popped, as well as Flash. One more hit is going to do it. First Blood goes over to Lucian. Strangelove flashing forward for that one.
Landing those binds.
Yep, that's the utility of a Morgana support.
And here's the thing about Ryze right here. I don't know why he's like next to Xin Chao.
He was way aggressive, and now Omnibus is going to make him pay for it. Actually picks up the kill there. Inheritor keeping a safe distance so he doesn't get bursted down. Nocturne making the first move out of the jungle. Udyr continuing to farm up in his top side.
Yeah, one thing, when both junglers start bot side, you got to know where they come out of. If Xin Chao's already in lane, Ryze has got to be like, okay, Nocturne's doing blue buff. Okay, so he's probably going to do his, Wolf or Raid Camp. Go to his right, come top.
Hold Bel Air
if he has a
bot.
ward, he needs to drop it.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to know exactly when you should be moving on to like another lane or something, but when you see Nocturne in the top and hey, I can go to the bot lane, I can make something happen. Well, yeah, but Caitlyn wasn't there at the time either. They did manage to get a lot of damage, though, onto Bel Air with that Thresh hook. The Black Shield was popped a little bit too late, so reaction time's a little bit slow despite that. 2 kills to none and a little bit of a gold lead, 700 at only 4 minutes in here for Jookz Gaming. So they're starting to get a little more presence here, forcing their lanes back. Mid lane hasn't really had a lot of action at all, and that's not that surprising considering where the matchup. Lulu versus Nidalee, it's just a poke fest.
Nocturne's going top right now.
Yeah, okay, we got something. And he's hiding out in the bush, still got his double buffs, but I think Ryze learned his lesson from last time. Now, Udyr coming around the side in the middle lane for the gang. He's got his double buffs as well. He's going to speed himself up. Pops, silent, spear to the face, actually to the back, and they're not going to have enough damage to finish that one off. But they do force silent out of lane. And then down in the bot, it's Tayek is still being very aggressive with Caitlyn, trying to zone out Strangelove of the farm. So far, just managing to keep even, despite the fact that he was killed off earlier in the game. Nocturne up in the top, trying to put some pressure on Ryze. Inheritor, though, not a lot of HP left in this one. And he's just really requiring a lot of help from Omnibus if he wants to stay alive in this early game. Trying to shut down Ryze, like you said, is just so key. You don't want him spiraling out of control in the late game.
Yeah, he's up in CS right now.
Yeah, that's probably to be expected, especially considering how much range he's got on Xin Zhao.
I think Udyr's gonna AFK right now.
Yeah, he's just gonna keep on farming.
Nox already level 5, almost 6.
Yeah, he's well, don't see anything towards his build, but I'm assuming he's gonna go back and buy those Madrids. I would be surprised if the junglers went anything but a Feral Flare to begin with. It just works so well on it. Yeah. As your videos taught me, actually. Anyways, Tayek being zoned out a little bit. Don't want to step on the tormented soil. He's actually taken most of the damage in these early engages. But Captain Lord, one thresh hook can make all the difference in this bot lane. Whoa, okay, I'll get to talk about that in a minute, because the mid, down goes Nidalee, and Silent picks up a kill. Actually forced the flash out of Nidalee, as well as the barrier, and she still went down. That's not what you want as Forsaken Gaming in the opening stages of this match, to burn 2 summoners and not even make it out alive. Actually requiring a little help from Nocturne to even it up now that Geo has decided to camp that mid lane in his stead for the time being. The bot lane continues to be a farm fest, though. They haven't been able to land any serious skill shots for the last couple of minutes, so it's been a really thing. I'm surprised at how well they're keeping up in farm, but Strangelove has been pulling ahead lately.
And Ryze has got mobiles right now. He wants to get back in the lane pretty fast.
Yeah, that's an interesting early game build. The tier of the god is in straight into Moby boots, whereas Xin Zhao doesn't even have boots yet. But he's back in lane.
I probably would have started on my Catalyst on Ryze, and well, he's still up in CS though.
I guess he's pretty confident from the fact that, yeah, not only is he out CSing Xin Zhao, but if he pulls Nocturne up there all game, there's really nothing he can do. Oh, Nidalee almost spear steals away the blue buff and now finds himself caught. And there's a big dive. The Nocturne popping the paranoia onto Lil Ray's, flashing forward, fearing him backwards. And there's the wild growth out too. Lil Ray's is caught and goes down. Another kill over to Nocturne, actually. A little greedy on Nidalee's part. But yeah, talking about Ryze. I agree. I would have liked to see the Catalyst early on him. Oh man, they're not going to let me talk about this. Tayek is taking a lot of damage in the bot lane. Okay, they've evened out. Yeah, I would have liked to see the Catalyst early too, but I guess he just wants the mobility early on, and he's very confident that he doesn't have to worry about getting ganked over and over and over again, since Nocturne has to help out the mid and bot lane too.
Yeah.
But he's like, okay, yeah, I can just do this early on and not worry about it. And now he's working on the Catalyst, gets that Ruby Crystal.
Well, yeah, he's 460, so I mean, he could telly on that ward bot lane.
Yeah, they could make a big difference in that one. Tayek, though, is a little low on health to be able to go in on these fights, and I guess as Caitlyn, you don't have to dive super hard, but you need to be able to keep up some sustained damage and dish it back out. Caitlyn hasn't yet hit 6. Belair is about to do that. Strangelove's already up there. There's always the
Ryze is going to go down again.
And Tayek decides to back in. Okay, here we go. Ryze is getting pushed down. Inheritor, one more hit will do it. Geo, though, comes in for the flash. He's under tower, but they do manage to pick up a double kill. Omnibus targeting. Serious damage dealer right now for this Jookz gaming team. And they're going to push on tower for free.
And Nocturne's already level 8, and Udyr, you know, he's just been farming. Really no jungle presence. I mean, if he's gonna... He has to be higher level than Noct, but he's been taxing lanes.
Okay, there's your teleport coming in. They're going to try to turn around on this one, but a little bit too late. Inheritor's going to back out, Omnibus following him. And yeah, so far, Nocturne's really had a much better jungle presence than Udyr, and just kind of been a couple steps ahead, or, well, a couple glides ahead, because Nocturne doesn't walk. He glides along the map, right? I don't know how he uses boots.
Lulu putting a lot of tower,
on the edge of his,
tower damage
on the edge of his little thing. Yeah. Alright, so Strangelove's going to pop kind of an odd calling right there. Probably hoping to catch Tayek, but he blew it a little bit too early and way too high on the edge of that. He's still way out farming, though. Almost a 30 CS lead. Well, that's cut a little bit now with that Peacemaker that was just launched, but really running this bot lane and this top with a lot of help from Nocturne. Find a better angle. He can't quite even finish his Catalyst yet, and Inheritor's just free farming. Well, here comes Udyr around the side, though. Geo finally making his way to the bot to try and make something happen. Strangelove is about half health. Maybe if he can catch him on the outside, he should get it. They do catch Belair on a hook, though. Shield popped a little bit after that. Tayek almost gets it on a Dark Binding. And they'll go back to farming. Silent being chased down by Nidalee Spear. Woo! That's low. You gotta be careful. Glitter Lances and zooms on out of there. It's gonna force Lulu out of lane for the time being. And here comes Nocturne down the bot side as well. Udyr went back to farm, though. Kind of indecisive this game, it seems.
Yeah, he just needs to go. Lane, they're gonna lose this hard.
Oh, okay. Nothing comes out of it. And Omnibus is actually going to find a little raise in the jungle side. Dodges a spear. Chance at 1v1ing, so going to chase Nidalee away from that, actually. Yeah, well, what do you think, really, though, that Forsaken needs to do to get really back into this? Because they've fallen behind. They haven't managed to pick up a kill. When you've got Inheritor being able to do damage like that to rise in the top lane without any retribution, you know something's falling apart. Oh, well, here comes Geo, though. Trying to even it out.
Yeah, he's got the turtle stance maxed out second, so he's not going to be able to catch anybody. Be able to,
That's a little bit better for farming, I suppose.
Nah, you're going to have to back anyway. I mean, it's pretty much, if you're going to max turtle, you might as well go,
oh, wow. Yeah, they go on to rise with the ult. Geo's trying to defend and clean up, but look at how squishy he is.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to take him out under tower. A double kill for Nocturne, once again, who escapes death by turrets. Inheritor tanking a little bit up of that, and down on the bot. They've forced everybody out of the bot lane as well, and now Belair and Strangelove are going to have free push, as well as Inheritor and Omnibus in the top. This could be 2 towers right now for Jookz without any answer from Forsaken. This is starting to turn into a bit of a snowball.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for the blue team to make a comeback. I mean, Rise by Mobile's Catalyst here. He's going to need about another 40 minutes.
Before he gets up to that reasonable level of scaling. I mean, yeah, when it's... I used to run Singe top all the time, and I always judged like how well I was doing by how early I could afford Roa. Of course, I didn't usually get the tier first or the Moby boots first, but if I could get it by like 18 minutes, I would consider it pretty good. So he's got a little time, I suppose, if we're using my same silly metric. But he's already lost his lane, and he's down 3 kills. You know, Zinjao doesn't have any kills either, but he's perfectly content to just feed Nocturne all day.
Yeah.
Omnibus is just scary damage right now. He's going to have his Feral Flare way faster than Udyr. He's able to farm and then make plays.
Just smited, but I'm pretty sure they don't need smite.
Yeah, no, he's clearing pretty fast regardless. I think they're looking to contest Dragon right now. Popping a pink ward down. Strangelove is pinging for it. They do have control of that side of the map, having cleared the bot turret. Zinjao has a teleport up. He should be able to get in the event of a team fight. And they're clearing wards. Starting the Dragon now with 3 men. Captain Lord hanging around the outside. Geo just finishing up red, looking to help come around the side of it too. Captain Lord throwing a lantern prematurely to get a little vision, but I don't think they're going to be able to contest this Dragon. Oh, he almost grabs it though. That was a nice attempt by Captain Lord. He actually finds himself a Nocturne instead. And then they're going to head up to the mid lane. This is going to be a problem for Lil Rays. He's had enough issues dealing with Silent, but now he suddenly finds himself on the other end of 4 members of Jookz Gaming, and they're going to push this tower down. No problem. First 3 towers are going to go over to Jookz, and they're going to keep engaging. There's a Colin popped out, and Geo takes a little bit of damage as well. He seems to be a bit squishy, actually. Kind of surprised he hasn't got a lot more tanky items, even though he did finish the Wriggles. And they don't even need Nocturne to take this engage. I think I might have called it a little bit wrong here, Trick, when I said the team fights were going to start at about 20-30 minutes. They're starting the siege already now that they've finished these lanes up, and Jookz really has the run of the entire map right now, at least to the first tier turrets.
And they can pretty much do whatever. Do that one... well, if I was Nocturne, I'd probably just farm my Pharrell. Feral.
That sounds like the next upcoming hip-hop singer.
Yeah.
I would totally launch a label under that name. Alright, well, they're going to catch Tayek out here, too. Oh! Actually flashes away a nice little juke, but not enough
right.
to avoid the soul shackles. And here's a teleport in as well. Belair's actually going to try and finish it off, but a heal from Caitlyn has popped, and they let it slip through, and now they're going to turn on to Rise. Silent catches him too, popping up, and down he goes. Inheritor only taking a rune prison on all of that, and now 5-man hit squad in the bot lane is looking to threaten this second-tier turret. Only Geo and Captain Lord so far to defend. Italy coming up around the side. Oh, they can continue to push this as long as they have waves. Around the outside, looking to pick off anyone who strays into the jungle. And here's Little Raze. Oh, he's going to go straight onto her, but this might be a little bit overly aggressive. He's going to find himself on the wrong side of the jungle. Now he's got his team in here. Omnibus ulting in. Thresh Pox is popped, but it's not enough. They take him down and make it look easy. Jookz Gaming actually loses Belair to a spear from Lil Raze. A nice presence of mind in picking up their first kill, but it might be a little bit too late to save this tower. Now they're just going to disengage. Strangelove eat the spear on the outside. Nidalee's still scary. Even that much AP, but she's still pretty scary right now. Oh, and Heritage caught too. Okay,
that
so
BM.
Forsaken does manage to make something out of that. 2 kills for 1. Surprised
I think
that Jookz
Zen lagged out.
Oh, we got to pause. Alright, so this is probably due to a disconnect, and that was probably Xinjiao that disconnected, considering that he didn't run out of the jungle when he could. So basically what happens when we have a pause like this, each team is allowed 2 pauses for a total of 5 minutes each, and that was just 1 used up, so they still got about 8 or 9 minutes left should they need to take another. But it looked like it was just a quick disconnect from Inheritor, and that was really all there was to it. But with that, I guess you could call it a lucky break for Forsaken. They did manage to get something out of what looked like really nothing. And at this point, I guess all they can do is really split push their waves and try to distract the rest of Jookz and just pick off people. They do have a pretty good poke composition between Tayek and Lil Raze, but the rest of them are quite squishy. Even Geo, who, surprisingly rocking Udyr, he did finally get a chain vest up, so maybe he'll be a little hardier in these engages. But right now, they're definitely down a lot of deaths, and they don't want to give up any more.
Well, if they can drag this out, a little bit longer, even if they lose an inhib and Udyr's got his flare, stacked up, and he has about 5 to 10 stacks on it. Yeah, but if you get pressured so hard, it's gonna be definitely gonna be a problem for them. But with the flare, super minions are pretty much like regular caddy minions to flare junglers.
And there's always the potential to do a really quick desperation Baron, or if you take a
that too
engage, you can do a 2 or 3 man on it. It's really opened a lot of options. That's why everyone is screaming about how broken it is.
Yeah, but
right, so
what happened. Nocturne, jungle presence. While Udyr was jungling.
He's just been super scary this game, and his ultimate has really allowed him to get places a lot faster than his counterpart. Even though Udyr does have a speed steroid that granted him a ton of mobility this game. I do think later on, opposition from Forsaken scales incredibly well. They've got Rise, they've got Caitlyn, they've got Nidalee, and as long as they don't get caught out, they should have no trouble fending off a siege, since they just have so much poke and a little bit of catch there thanks to Captain Lord's hooks. He's been pretty accurate on them as well. Quicker reaction time than Morgana's Black Shields, at least. So that could be what gets them back into this game. But right now, they're still down 6K, almost 7,000 gold. And if they give up another objective like Dragon, it comes up in about a minute, just going to keep getting worse and worse. And it's not even 20 minutes into this game, so they got to start making something happen quickly.
And they got to watch out for that Baron. Zin's got his blade. Nocturne's about 4 stacks away from 6 stacks away.
Yeah, now that they've upped it to 30, was it? Until it turns into the Feral?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a later game item now, but it's still just as deadly as it's been before. And now there's kind of this 4-1 roam squad going on. They're still posturing for Dragon. It looks like we had another disconnect. The is 4, but if it is once again Inheritor or somebody else on Jookz Gaming, that's going to be the last pause that they're allowed. And if somebody else is disconnect, they're going to have to play on without him after this. So hopefully they get whatever internet problems that they have in order, and we can get back into it. But we do have a little bit of time to talk items, since we've kind of been having a lot of action back and forth. Surprisingly, Udyr actually finished up his Feral first, so I guess all that farming does pay off, yeah?
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, once you get that, you know, that's a little bit of hope. You know, you got to survive. They might have to give up this next dragon. They just got to watch out for the Baron. But Udyr
Yeah.
needs to start pressuring something, and he doesn't. It's just a little bit.
Oh, it was actually Geo that DC'd on this one. So it looks like he's back. So that was one pause for each team. So we wanted to worry about running into the pause limit, but you know everybody's on different internet connections. This being an offline or an online event sometimes, but we allow pauses. We don't want to be completely unfair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do got to put some pressure on something. They could get one of these turrets, like they're going and threatening the top lane one, but now they're opening this dragon up completely. Even if they pull it down in the next 20 seconds and then just make a beeline for the dragon pit, they're still going to be way scattered and out of position. And that's when you don't have any towers, you've got to just go and take risks like that. Otherwise, there's a chance that you might not pick any up at all, and that's more demoralizing than losing a dragon, I'd say.
A summoner has disconnected.
Nope, still disconnecting, so he's got a few more issues on there. Oh, and he's back once again. There we go. Hopefully he stays in this time. Udyr's build, though, he's definitely deciding to build a lot tankier, opting into the Randuins, and he still hasn't quite finished Boots 2 yet. It's going to be the Merc Treads more likely than
Could be a
not.
Sunfire Cape too.
Oh.
You know.
Yeah, that's true, too. I suppose either one would help a lot. I would like to see Randuins just because he doesn't...
Yeah.
Even with the tankiness, he hasn't lived extremely long because Nocturne is just very fed at this point, and regardless of the amount of armor that you have, it's hard to live through just being piled on and whomped on, and the Blade of the Rune King is going to help too. There's a lot of AP done by Lulu as well. Oh wow, Tyek's out too. This is a really big problem right now for Forsaken. They're losing people left and right. Yeah. Hope there's no drop hacking happening.
Yeah.
Everyone's been big ongoing issues, but more likely than not, it's just everyone's got a different internet, and sometimes people disconnect, right?
Yeah.
All right. So about these, well, we talked about it in the very beginning, but about the support items, you've got Morgana actually finished up her Frost Queens, and she's got a pretty solid build going on from there. But Thresh hasn't managed to finish his coin yet either, and that's the amulet, that is, and that's a bit of an issue when you're really relying heavily on your mobility to secure you kills, and that might be maybe why he hasn't been able to help as much. Him and Tyek have kind of had to hang back in most of these fights. But Morgana has kind of been up front and center. I guess that's more what you want to do anyways, considering her ultimate for a Zhonya's Hourglass yet, though.
That's gonna be a while for that.
Yeah. Well, she does have a good gold generation item, and with the amount of damage that they're doing to teams, that they're doing to everybody on the enemy team, they shouldn't have too much problem securing a lot of gold. But okay, we're back. Nocturne putting pressure down the mid lane with Lulu, Silent going around the side there, and they're just gonna actually push onto the bot lane, completely giving up on the top, and rightly so. There's no need to defend it now that they've already won the first tier so hard, and they're going to be able to take this. And Tyek actually caught in a bad place. Geo and Captain Lord on the outside. They do find Morgana on a Thresh Hook, but the Black Shield says, nope, I'm not too worried about it. Now we have a 4-1 push going on. Omnibus soloing this mid lane tower and having to get out of there now that Nidalee's in the area, but they're continuing to push now and threaten the inhibitor turret, and there's really no answer that Forsaken has right now. They do actually catch inhibitor on an inheritor on the outside of the inhibitor. Bleh. And they do force him back for the time being. Thresh boxes pop. Geo is low. Omnibus taking tower shots, but they force them away at the end of this. But it's going to land on Silent, who body blocks for Belair. Now Belair locked up, having to pop a flash to get out of this. They are running scared. Anything can happen in the next couple of seconds. If they do manage to catch on one person, well, no they don't. It's going to be a none for none, but the dragon will go over contested as of yet if they want to take it. I don't think Jookz is feeling extremely confident, and now there's yet another pause, so possibly more connection issues. That was
hopefully nobody's getting DDoS drop hacked.
Yeah, I hope not. That'd be quite unfortunate right now. We normally don't have too many of these issues, but again, everybody's on different internet. It's totally online. these kinds of things can happen. But that was a pretty wicked team fight. I thought there would be a lot more death in that, but both these teams able to back out quite well. And okay, the pause does get alleviated. Lick their wounds just a little bit. Everybody's pretty low right now, and actually, it's going to be Forsaken that attempts this dragon, and they should be able to get it. Really trying to find a kill on the outside, zone people away, and actually this has prompted Forsaken, or it's prompted Jookz to rethink their recall strategy for the time being, and the dragon does go over to Forsaken Gaming, who get a much-needed respite after forcing everybody off that bot lane inhibitor turret.
It's actually pretty good for the Forsaken. I mean, they're going to be able to, get some time to farm up. That's what they need right now.
Booster too.
Yeah.
After so many setbacks, they finally managed to fend off a siege pretty well. They did have superior poke, as we saw, and a nice hook meant that nobody was completely safe, and Inheritor just said, nope, 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 had to get out of there. And they're going to think twice before they attempt something like that again, and that's, even without vision, they're securing Baron to a degree as well.
And that Nocturne build, if he would have just went more tanky and maybe got like a Randuin's or finished Blade of the Rune King, they could have taken that bot turret. And you see it's half health and it's regen, and probably would have been game because they would have had an open inhib. And if they take that inhib, Baron's up for the taking. And Rice just used teleport too, and Nocturne should have his flare completed pretty soon.
Yeah,
there he is.
It just ticked on right before he hit the big wolf, I think. Was it like it's like a 5 or 10 second delay before it actually goes?
And Italy though, I mean, she can land some spears.
Yeah,
stall the game out a little bit.
Yeah, she's got a decent bit of AP.
Yeah, she needs to go back and buy and get that rod.
Yeah, once she has a death cap, that's going to be really, really scary. Again, Forsaken does have a really good anti-siege going for him. They were able to fend off. They couldn't quite get that second tier turret, but it's a lot harder to push on inhibitor turrets.
Yeah. If Nocturne would have just built a little bit more tanky. I don't know if did Lulu ult knock or when he went in, or I don't think he did,
or she tried to. Might have been a misclick. He did deal a lot of damage, but yeah, he had to back really quickly after that. Despite well, they're gonna dive on #1 Legends right now, way under turret. Now Omnibus is actually taking more shots from the tower than not, but they do pick him off in the end, and nobody from Forsaken there to defend, but they are on the chase now. Coin was finished and now popped, but it's all a distraction maneuver because Belair is looking around the side. Strangelove and Silent are pushing on this second tier mid turret. The split siege continues, and they're going to push down the tower without too much of a contest, although Nidalee is threatening with those spears. They just keep dodging right outside the range. It's got to be so frustrating if your Lil is just not able to connect those just barely, and now that he's got his needlessly large rod, they're going to hurt quite a lot should they land. Strangelove and Pop is calling to neutralize the minion wave, but they are going to almost find him on a hook, and he dashes just out of the way. Serious mobility for both teams, and that's why we really haven't seen that many kills on either side. All the early game kills are kind of petering out now that we've entered this mid game. That's seen Jookz really on a very confident footing, but not able to lock up all the towers they would like to. Still, 5-1 is not a bad situation to be in.
I don't know if Ryze gets dived again at his turret. Would have been good if Udyr was there to clean up.
Yeah, they've really done a good job keying off on him.
Yeah, a lot of times people play so aggressive when they get the lead, and if you're there just to clean up a couple of kills, that could turn the game around.
Absolutely. And I mean, taking him out of the action just means that if they do have to force an engage after that, it's just so much better to not worry about him. He's decided to just be as tanky as possibly can, nearly up and ready, but damage is already done. They've been shutting him down a good chunk of the game, and when you can dive someone under turret like that with only 2, I mean, Nocturne's just so scary. 8-0, despite the fact that he doesn't have enough to really survive extended engages, they're relying really heavily on burst right now, and they're getting the job done with it. Blair is soloing the mid lane. Strangelove is going to join him for a little free farming party, but Captain Lord and #1 Legends are trying to neutralize that as well, and they've got Geo and Lil on the outside too, trying to bait them into a fight that they don't want to take. Nocturne continuing to farm up his flare in the jungle. Xin Zhao clearing waves in the top end. Silent is not really in the party right now, but it's going to be this control war for the Baron pit coming up pretty soon. They're trying to clear out wards and make sure that they keep their enemy in the dark so they can take this Baron with 2 or 3 if they need to. Now that both parties have the Feral Flare, everything's pretty much off. Rise again. Oh, that's not where you want to be. Culling is popped as well. Rune Prison goes down, but it's not enough to stop him. Omnibus picks up his 9th kill of the game, narrowly dodging an Italy Spear, but it doesn't matter. He just deals a stupid amount of damage, and they're going to go straight to Baron.
Rise didn't pop his ult and just put out, you know, he didn't put any damage out.
Yeah, well, he found himself a little out of position there. And you can't even go in your own jungle at this point, and that's what happened. He melted. They're going to try to contest this, but I don't think they really can. Baron is still low, but they're going to try to. Inheritor gets caught up on hook. Geo, he's getting dove on now, too, gets knocked up, and there's the Lantern to try and disengage. Baron Nashor does go down, and nobody dies from Jookz Gaming. Strangelove takes a full-on spear, but it's only half his health, and with the Baron buff, he should regenerate that nicely. Forsaken, got to be worried right now. They're down a serious amount of gold, 10,000. They've given up the Baron. Ryze has died 6 times and hasn't really been a part of any of those big team engages. And they've just got to hunker down now in Turtle. Maybe not Turtle form.
Huh.
Yeah, I have a million bad puns. Not all of them are Udyr related, I promise.
Freak Jr. over here.
Oh god, yeah. I don't have enough of a chin strap yet, but I'm hoping to grow it out one day. So now that they pretty much are establishing full map dominance, you see those immense number of wards in the topside jungle. There's really nowhere that Ryze can go without getting picked off easily, and I think they're confident enough at this point to dive just about any single member, whether or not it's under towers, because of just the sheer damage output that they can provide and how much gap close Nocturne has. He's got his Blade of the Rune King. Now that he's got a little bit more free gold to farm up, I suppose, what's his next move? He's got the Chain Vest. Is he going to be building up a Guardian Angel?
Probably Randuin's. I don't think he needs a GA since he's got Lulu. Well,
yeah. Completely uncontested Dragon, too. And look at how fast they cleared that. That was like 7 seconds, maybe? Yeah, at this point, Forsaken just has to hope against hope that they can fend off a siege and just catch somebody on a thresh hook, melt them down, turn it around. There's always a chance to do it, but they need absolute perfect positioning, and they cannot afford to lose anybody to dives. Legends understands that, and he's going to back out of this bot lane. Oh, Captain Lord's caught up on a culling. He might just melt to it right there. Oh, just barely ends in time. Oh, geez, the damage output from Strangelove is starting to get pretty scary, too, and they lose yet another turret. There's the 3-1-1 push going on. 3 in the mid, 1 in the top, 1 in the bot. Nocturne's going to regroup, rotate around mid lane to join the rest of his team. And Inheritor is still causing problems. Geo having to be up in the top lane clearing away when they really need his utility to be putting on people that stray a little bit too far. And Italy is able to zone with spears, but for how much longer is that going to last? Even with the blue buff. And with another wave, they'll just continue to push on forward. Only so much wave clear. Well, Captain Lord, whoa, you're getting low, and now Inheritor diving in. Threshbox is popped, and there is the Wild Growth from Lulu trying to turn it on around. Nocturne is going to Paranoia in, landing on Tayek. They take him out. He gets his 10th kill of the game with no deaths. They're turning on to Legends. Now inside his own base, he is not able to stand up. Belair is taking tower shots over by the Nexus, but he doesn't care. All of a sudden, it's a 5v3, and they pick off a turret in the bot, turning onto the inhibitor. They can turn on to this top one as well. Belair is actually going to go down to Lil Ray's, exhausted, but it doesn't matter. 1 kill picked up. It's not enough, though. They catch Omnibus on a hook, but they don't have the damage to follow through on it. There is way too much burst. Strangelove going to take another spear to the face, but it doesn't matter again. There's the culling. He's going to pop down Geo, and then some. He does fall after the fact, but Lil Ray's and Captain Lord only defenders. Nidalee just coming back up. Another double kill for Nocturne. They're going to dive on for the almost ace as Tayek comes back up in this one. Finish off the inhibitor. And a job well done for Jookz Gaming.
That Nocturne is 14-0 right now.
They have not been able to stop him. It's just ridiculous how much damage he's been able to put out. And then get away for free. He took almost no damage in that whole engage.
Got that Whimsy.
Oh, man,
how much does Whimsy get? How much move speed? Like,
I think it's like the value of like 1 extra pair of boots if they stacked like that. It's like plus what, 35, 45. I don't know the number exactly off the top of my head.
For 5 seconds.
Okay, there you go.
Hold on,
I mean, that scales with what you already have.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And then if he's already diving in with his ultimate, The stack on top of that?
Is Q? Yeah, he looked pretty fast. He looked like a Nocturne Bolt over here.
There's a spooky ghost.
Okay,
Very
you got that
spooky
GA.
ghost.
Yep, he's gonna be diving.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's not going to fear anything. I mean, when you're fortunate to know, it's hard to be afraid anyways.
Yeah.
Pretty much cannot die. And this is going to be a serious problem for Forsaken. Ryze does finally have a pretty decent build. He's not got a whole lot of MR, so he's still going to have an issue if he finds himself up against a Lulu or the Morgana, who, by the way, after completing Mikhail's too, the team that just has so much anti-CC that it doesn't matter that there's thresh hooks, it doesn't matter that there's rune prisons or your stuns. It's just a stupid amount of hard engage, and all they need to do is dive this. 2 members still have Baron. Actually, Baron did just expire. Never mind. And they won't have too much trouble sieging this down, especially with 2 inhibitors. They're looking to seal the deal and take down the 3rd one. This is probably going to be GG after this fight, unless somehow Forsaken can pick somebody off under tower. But there's the Culling clearing up the waves, and Tayek already takes a lot of damage on that one. Inheritor takes a spear, but it really doesn't matter. Captain Lord trying to find somebody on a hook, maybe Omnibus, but they cannot quite get him down. Lucian also has the Trinity Force too, so he's not going to be a pushover in terms of damage right now. Inheritor BM spamming just a bit. Finds himself on the wrong end of a hook, but no follow-up available. I think they know they've won this one, and they might actually go over to Baron to seal the deal in another minute. Do they really even need it at this point? Well, now with the super minions streaming into the bottom of the base too, this is something else that Forsaken has to address, and Tayek gets caught by Dark Binding. Takes a little more damage. Thresh still can't find a hook. He's just barely missing these. But even when he is catching them, it's just so hard for them to do much. And yeah, look, it's the super minions pushing on the bot wave, and they need Udyr to be clearing this up with the Feral Flare. But then there's the 5-man on the top. Well, they did manage to clear the wave away for now, but they're just going to keep on coming. And here comes the engage. Big time. Oh my goodness, Nocturne coming all the way and diving back to Fountain. Lil Raze is gonna go down. They take down Udyr and Nidalee as well. Captain Lord standing. Number 1 Legends is the only one left. He's gonna go back to Fountain, and they're going to ignore him. They don't care too much about stat padding, and they're going to pick up these Nexus turrets and finish this game a stomp. A 32.5 minute. Actually, they're gonna dive on Legends. Okay, there he goes. Last defender falls. It's the ace. Down goes the Nexus, and the game in 32.5 minutes at a kill score of 22-5 goes over to Jookz Gaming. Wow.
That Nocturne got KS 2 times, but hey, happens. Yep.
Okay, well that was pretty crazy. It was quite a lot of back and forth, but serious snowball happened just from the minute that Nocturne picked off that first blood. Up well, and that was fantastic.
Ryze was keeping up with CS even though he died, but you know, he just kept going top, getting 3 kills. You know, Udyr went Phoenix, and you know, if you don't tell your Ryze to play it safe or kind of read where Nocturne's at, that's gonna happen every single time.
Yeah, they really keyed off him quite a lot. Never let Ryze get going, and that was a pretty key strategy. He called it at the beginning. What'd you think of Geo's Udyr though?
You know, if he shouldn't have wasted his time mid, he shouldn't have wasted his time going top and dying, giving out red buff. If he's gonna play Udyr and go Phoenix, you just AFK and you tell your team, yo, you gotta pretty much tell him back up. He didn't do that, and saw what happened to Ryze. And you know, the time he died, the time he went mid to gank, you know, all that, he didn't get nothing out of it. So he was probably better off getting his flare at 12 minutes and then having like 20 stacks at 20 minutes, and then telling his team, bow down and let me carry this, but he just had to cover lanes, too much pressure. And that's why Udyr is not that good. And he went turtle too, so he's not able to cover ground. When you max 1 stance, it goes all the way down to like 35 mana instead of, you know, bear stance being at 47, so he wasn't able to cover ground. And that's why Udyr is good right now, well, in my eyes, because you max bear second and you can help people, and you can just, well, you don't really help people, but I think Tiger would have been better for more of a team play. You know, counter ganking top, because when your top lane has a rough start like that and goes, and just get camped like, I don't know, every 2 minutes, it's gonna be a struggle for him, and it's just gonna be rough for everyone else. Nearly didn't do too bad.
Seemed to be a couple steps behind the Nocturne every step of the way. Lily didn't do too bad. You know, definitely not. Kept up lane most of the game and really was kind of the backbone of that anti-siege. Uh, you know, again, they just had a tough time getting going, and Jookz took full advantage of that and decided, hey, you know, they have a poke comp, we can dive them every time, and it worked out pretty much every engage. Even the ones that weren't all that great, they didn't lose anybody, like on that bot inhibitor fight at about, what was it, 17, 18 minutes?
Yeah, pretty early. Well, if the Nocturne could have, you know, if he played, you know, got, you know, a little tanky, they would have ended this game a lot faster. And they could have lost it right there. That could have been a momentum shift if they were able to pick up some of those kills.
Oh, absolutely.
When they went in for the inhib.
Could have turned around on a dime.
Other than that, you know, just too much pressure, and we there just didn't put out. And he didn't go Randuin's. He went Sunfire Cape. I think Randuin's would have been better, you know, when you're struggling, having that active and not the burn.
I agree. That would have probably been a little more useful in the initial engages, just having it popped and not letting Nocturne burst people down with his attack speed. And what did he end the game with? He had like a crazy attack speed. A lot of stacks on his Feral Flare. I didn't actually get the full number, but I mean,
I didn't either.
He didn't take any breaks, man. As soon as he was done ganking, he just popped straight back into the jungle and cleared golems, cleared rays. I mean, he was really quick.
Definitely was, but you know, if you're gonna leave top, you know, you ain't got time to cover lanes. When you cover lanes, you know, give that information out.
Well, it was a pretty good game. Jookz definitely proved that they were the more dominant one, and they're going to move on to the next round. I don't know if we have the bracket updated yet, but we have a opening round that's 16 teams, 8 matches, and then the next round, of course, half that number. The next round, semifinals, half that number, and finally down to the finals. Well, Jookz could very well be one of our finals competitors today. Or knowing anything else about any of these other guys that are playing?
Yeah, they might want to ban that Nocturne because that guy is a beast.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Well, I certainly wouldn't want to sit him down in the next game. But Trick, thank you so much for casting with us. It's been a real pleasure.
No problem.
Absolutely, man. All right, so we're going to kick it over to some tunes that you guys have selected. People in the audience using that Nightbot. We'll be back with the next games in just a moment. Don't touch that browser.